Hi, this is Quandetta. This is Talk Therapy with Q. Talk therapy is something that I came up with some years ago when I was talking to students, other classmates in college some years ago, and we just had delightful conversations about things, and we just continued to talk online and talked on the phone sometimes, and just coming together as women. So I decided to put it on a platform through Facebook, and it's called Talk Therapy. So now I'm trying to bring it live on Facebook and maybe YouTube. We'll see how it goes. If you had any kind of questions or concerns you wanted to talk about or ask me, I would try to not solve them, but just try to talk to you and give you a different outlook on what you might have been thinking, and whatever problems or concerns or observations we've been having, we can probably talk about them and see what the best thing to do. So you can what you can do is put them on Facebook, or you can just question me through Messenger, and then I'll get back to you. One of my questions came from a very close friend, a very older friend, not old as an age, but I've been knowing her for a while. And I'm not going to give any names, I'm just giving the questions. One of the questions was, what is the true meaning of forgiveness from a human standpoint and a biblical standpoint? Okay, and I'm going to do some reading. This is just so I won't forget my train of thought. I am 52, so I kind of forget sometimes. I'm thinking true meaning, um, the true meaning of friendship from a human standpoint, I believe it's discussing the offense in depth. Okay, if something has occurred and you got highly offended, I think some things are in order. We have to think about how we offended, why we got offended, why did we get offended from that particular person. I'm thinking once that's understood, a person can forgive. And I say that because if the offense occurred and it was reversed, would you want that same type of forgiveness that you're giving, or would you want that same type of forgiveness that you're asking? So, forgiveness is a friend and I talked about forgiveness. What is true forgiveness? Is it forgetting? I don't think it's really forgiving. I'm sorry, I don't think it's really forgetting. You don't forget when something happens. I'm thinking that you're going to forgive a person. And the reason why I forgive a person is because if I did something, I would want that person to forgive me. And because we're all flawed, we are so flawed. None of us are perfect. I know some of us strive to do better more and more every day, but we're still not perfect. I mean, we can try to do our best, and evil is right around the corner. Sometimes we can't even avoid it. So, to forgive is to mend. I think it's to heal. You don't have to forget, but forgive. You have to let it go where it doesn't bother you. I think that's a key to forgiveness too. It doesn't bother you anymore. You're able to see that person, you're able to talk to that person, and you're not holding him hostage anymore of what he or she did to you. And you're releasing yourself from all the hurt, the anger, the turmoil you went through. So that would be, I believe, the biblical standpoint. Can we forgive like God forgives? No, no way, because we're not God. Um, we don't have that type of love that God has for us. God has a love for us that He can forgive us, and He can forget about it as if we didn't do it. That agape love He has for us, I don't even think we're capable of having that, because our tiny little minds are going to go back to, well, he did this or she did that. So forgiveness is good where it doesn't bother you. And like I said, because as a God people, we know we are all flawed. So we basically do it for our own selves. We're freeing ourselves. And from a biblical standpoint, you could say, forgive as God forgave you, if that makes you feel better. But biblically, forgiveness is releasing yourself from any anger, resentment, or vengeance toward a person who wronged you. You forgive that person as if they never harmed you or offended you. So that's what we have to do. Think about God and how He forgives. 70 times 7. Forgive and you'll be forgiven. That's where I get that biblical standpoint. The other question that she posed to me was, what is the greatest lesson you learned about maintaining friendships? Now, that's good. That's great. I have friends I can count on my two hands. And I always say my friends are so faithful and they're so loyal. They are there. We might not talk, and we don't talk every day. We can go weeks, months, maybe not years, but we can go months, weeks and months, and we can come right back to that. Once we do see each other, we can come right back, as if nothing, like we've been talking. So that's what that's about. So the greatest lesson I've learned about maintaining friendships is that you have to be a friend in order to have one. If you want someone to listen to you over and over again, do things for you, believe you, trust you, you have to be that type of person. If you don't want anyone talking behind your back or talking to the wrong people about you, then you have to be that type of person. You can't expect for someone to be your friend, but you have no idea what friendship is. That was number one. Be a friend. Number two, and I probably already said it, treat that friend how they want to be treated. Usually we say, treat people how you want to be treated. But I find that everybody doesn't want to be treated the same. So treat that friend how they want to be treated, because you two are different. You can't always apply that golden rule. Everybody wants to be treated how they want to be treated. And so respect that and do that. Number 3, I have, let your friend be as they are. If they're a certain way and you can handle it, let them be. Now, most people, or my friends, I'll say my friends, know me. They know me. I could sound offensive, but they say it all the time. Poor thing. She doesn't mean any harm, and I really don't. And if you got to know me, you would know that I don't mean any harm. If I have a flaw, which I have many, one of them is truth. I have no problem with telling the truth. also have no problem with hearing the truth about me. So that's one of my flaws. Anyway, let your friend be who she is. Let your friend be who they are. Let her say what she feels. And if anybody gets offended by it, talk about it right then. Don't wait for days and weeks for things to fester. Just go ahead and you offended me. Okay, why did I offend you? How did I offend you? Why do you think you got so offended? Talk about it, because you all are friends. You should be able to say anything you want to say to your friends. If they're your true friends, if they're going to get offended on every single thing and they don't understand you, then, that's probably not true friendship. And from that, you most likely won't maintain a true friendship. Normally, the friendships that I have, we can say anything openly with no offense because we're grown, first of all, and we're reasonable. You have to be a reasonable person in order to accept people and for people to accept you. You have to be reasonable. And what I do, not that I find friends, but usually I can tell if a friend is going to click or a person is going to click just right then. Right then I can tell. Have friends who are like you. They don't have to be just like you, but like-minded. Even maybe raised in a certain way, the same, and that helps a lot. Birds of a feather flock together. So those were my opinions or ideas on what is the greatest lesson learned in maintaining friendships. Some of the friends that I have, I've been having them ever since I was in the 3rd grade. And to this day, I am still friends with that woman. Her name is Bradine. She lives in Brockton, Massachusetts. And we met back then. And we are still friends to this day, where we talk very intimately still. We can say anything to each other. And I have other friends here since I was 13, 10, 13. So we love each other, we respect each other, and most of all, we like each other. And that's going to conclude our talk therapy with Q. If you have any questions, concerns, or observations, go ahead and send me your question or concern in my Facebook Messenger, or if you have my number, you can go ahead and call me, or you can text me, and I'll try to answer as truthfully as I can. So thank you for listening. It was great talking to you, and I'll see you next time.